true. We're very excited. Let's go out to the Toyota of Hollywood guest line. Shop over 1,500 Toyotas indoors in one of America's largest showrooms at Toyota of Hollywood on 441 between Hollywood and Sheridan. The great Bernie Kosar, Leroy's friend, his favorite QB, Bernie. He always says that. Thanks for joining us. We really appreciate it.
It's good to be with you. One of my favorite teammates, friends, and running backs ever. And we actually did get a twofer with the Rock Me Like a Hurricane between the old school Hurricanes and that bad weather that's hitting us in Florida again.
Yeah, it's we're all trying to stay dry, stay safe out here, Bernie, especially with the excitement coming up this weekend between the Dolphins and Cleveland, and excited about this matchup. But before we get into that, Bernie, I listened to Mario Cristobal this week. I feel really bad. You can just hear the hurt in his heart about what's going on with them right now. Just your thoughts on the season so far, what Mario's going through, and the Canes and where they're at with his kind of starting to build his imprint of the program.
Yeah, I don't think any of us from the Canes perspective and Coach Mario's perspective wanted to see a start like this and a record like this. There's probably nobody that's harder on himself than Mario and what he's going to be expecting out of himself and his team. And I love the fact that he'll look at himself first and show that leadership, but it's absolutely the foundation needs to be laid so that games like this and streaks like this aren't part of our future.
Now, Bernie, when we're watching Tua Tagovailoa every single week, Leroy is telling me he's marveling at the way about how fast he gets the football out. And he was saying, it reminds him of the way that you played in some ways. When you watch Tua going into this week against Cleveland, seeing what he's been able to do back healthy with this offense, what are you seeing from Tua and the Dolphins QB?
Yeah, I love it. Thank you, Leroy, for the quickness of the throwing. I wish I had the athleticism in my feet like Tua does, because he couples the ability to quickly throw the ball and put it with great accuracy with excellent balance and excellent footwork. I struggled at the latter part of it. But what I really love about what Mike McDaniels is doing with the Dolphins offense and with Tua, and it's one of the issues for the Cleveland Browns this week, in the Cleveland Browns defense that has struggled stopping the run and has struggled with communication issues in the back end with the secondary. Mike McDaniel and the Dolphin offense, they do an exceptional job of doing personnel groups, motions, and shifts. And those motions and shifts causing confusion and getting personnel matchups with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. It's just been exceptional. I mean, to see Tyreek Hill, 76 catches, 1,104 yards, Jalen Waddle, 47 catches, 812 yards. And we're happy in Cleveland with Amari Cooper with having a good season with 39 catches and 553 yards. So the Dolphin receivers and Dolphin offense is way more explosive. And it really comes with the start with Tua being able to really handle the RPO game and quickly decipher, not only should it be the run aspect of it or the pass aspect, but when he does decide to throw it, his ability to pull it back, throw it quickly, and throw it with accuracy to hit guys in stride is exceptional.
Bernie, I always tell people they get caught up in arm strength. And yes, you do need arm strength, but you don't need a hand cannon. You just need to be able to deliver the ball where it needs to be. And I think we got so caught up in Tua not being able to throw the ball like Josh Allen or Justin Herbert that we kind of lost the aspect of accuracy and timing and things like that. That kind of happened to you. Yes. It was like nobody had a problem with how Bernie was throwing the football, except the coaches who wanted a quarterback with a cannon.
Yeah, I was about to say, as you were saying that, the part of the career that Leroy, me and you were together, I was the beginning of your career, but the latter part of my career, and the latter part of my career, my arm strength was drastically reduced from when I was at the U and early part of my career. And you have to make adjustments. And I love the great Hurricane head coach and Dolphin head coach Jimmy Johnson, who used to say the phrase, somehow, some way, figure out a way to make a play. And I had to evolve my game as my arm wasn't as strong as the Dan Marinos and the John Elways towards the end of my career. Tua has masterfully been able to adjust and somehow, some way, be able to figure out how to be productive. I mean, he had a 135.2 quarterback rating last week. He's leading the NFL basically at 115 quarterback rating, and his ability to throw the ball with accuracy off the RPOs we were just talking about. But it can't be discounted, that ability to throw that intermediate passing game, that 6-yard pass to 16-yard pass in that intermediate passing game. Tua is throwing that ball, and again, he doesn't have the arm strength of Justin Herbert or Josh Allen, but he actually probably throws that intermediate pass better than both of them. And that's where the Dolphin offense with Mike McDaniel has been overly focused on. And boy, when you're able to run the ball with Wilson and Mostert and then have Waddle and Tyreek Hill on those run games with those RPOs at that second level, boy, defenses are in a massive bind right now when they play the Miami Dolphins.
How much, Brittany, do you think that just having the confidence behind him this year with Mike McDaniel has helped him in his confidence on the field? Because you're right, he's cutting it right over the middle. He has no fear. It just feels like he will try and get into any window no matter what. I mean, obviously, yeah, he's got two excellent weapons who feel unstoppable right now in Tyreek and Waddle. But do you feel like that's a confidence thing growing in his game? Is that just maturing? What do you feel like is the element that's gotten that part out of him this year?
Well, it's absolutely a confidence factor is a part of it. Look at the touchdown on the bootleg last week at Chicago, where he rolled left and then threw it back across his body to the third receiver, Waddle, coming in. I mean, there was so many coaching points. Typically, you tell your QB, don't throw the ball when you're running back across your body to the middle of the field. He did that, so he did that. You only do that if you have confidence. He actually threw his guy open, and to show you the awesome coaching points, the details of assignment that the Miami Dolphins have, he threw that ball. The safety for the Bears was actually in good protection to actually make that interception. But for young receivers listening out there, you should probably be in school right now. But if not, always come back to the ball. And just like Waddle did on that play, he cut in front. He came pressing back to the ball to make that touchdown catch in the end zone. That is absolutely when you have a belief and a confidence in yourself and in your guys around you. You only make those throws when you have a strong belief in your team, in yourself.
Talking to the great Bernie Kosar, join us here on WQAM. Now, Bernie, this Browns team that you follow week in and week out, I know there's the countdown clock for you guys for DeShaun Watson and all that. That's coming down really, really soon. But for the Dolphin fans listening out here, what are they in store for? Cleveland, how are they, trying to go in, week out? We know they got a beast in Nick Chubb in the backfield. Our friend Jacoby Brissett is kind of holding down the fort. But what are the things that should I give Dolphin fans the most worry with Cleveland coming in this weekend?
Well, Dolphin fans, it's emotional for me for showing my age to have played for both teams and stuff. And just like Dolphin fans are familiar with Jacoby Brissett, we are now getting very familiar with Jacoby Brissett here in Cleveland. And yes, 3 games from now, first week of December, DeShaun Watson's coming back. But Jacoby Brissett has had really an exceptional year for what I think the expectation was going to be for him. He's thrown for almost 1,800 yards. He's really ran the offense good, but we're a running football team. And like Mike McDaniels is doing with the personnel groups, the motions and shifts to kind of create ways to get the ball to Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, almost in reverse with Jacoby and with Coach Stefanski. We're using a lot of personnel groups, motions and shifts. We use 13 personnel, 1 receiver, 3 tight ends, 1 back, as much as anybody in the league. And we use the great Chief David Njoku, University of Miami product. He has a high ankle sprain. He's been on one of the top tier, having a Pro Bowl year, but he missed last week's game. Using those personnel groups with multiple tight ends has been something that we've been using to try to run the ball against teams this year, and that's been something that if we run the ball strong, we're an effective team. When we fall behind and we're not running the ball, that's when we've had our challenges.
But how, like, just, all the stuff that DeShaun's dealing with on the off field, that's a whole nother ball of wax. But how hard do you think it's going to be for him all this time off, coming in and playing quarterback again? Like, that's kind of been an undersold thing of it. Like, do you feel like, is he in the building getting comfortable with his teammates? Like, what kind of a challenge is he in for when he does return?
Yeah, that's a fantastic question there, Tobin. And Leroy will attest to it from my perspective. I was super anal about needing to practice, wanting to play, needing to have those game reps. There's no substitute for a quarterback like live game reps, because unless you're the threat of getting killed, the threat of getting hit is out there. It's really hard to assimilate the reality of quarterbacking in the NFL. And DeShaun hasn't done that in almost 700 days by the time he takes a snap, almost 2 complete years. One of the things Jacoby Brissett said last week after the game was that I found interesting. He said the game's slowing down for him. Leroy, man, me and him really know how when you're really on your game and you really have that confidence, the game is almost in slow motion to you. It's becoming like that for Jacoby, and I see him playing significantly better. As it pertains to DeShaun, if you haven't played in 2 years, I really, and then you're coming back in Cleveland where you got to play in December, where the weather is less than ideal. This is a challenging spot from a quarterback perspective to play at the level that the world and I think yourself expects yourself to play. It's a tough ask.
Well, Bernie, I think it's more on Kevin Stefanski, because he has to stay true to what that team is and use that to get DeShaun Watson back into the swing of things. If he gets in there and tries to say, okay, DeShaun, save us, he's going to put DeShaun Watson in a bad spot.
Wow. So, Leroy, you're saying that's such a smart, astute statement that you could actually, if something goes wrong, you could get hired like Jeff Saturday to go from the radio booth
Hell
to the head coaching booth.
No.
Okay.
First person I'm calling is
exactly
Bernie.
right.
Hey, what do I do?
Yeah. Hey, but that's your point. So spot on. Look, you're going to you haven't played in 2 years. The hype of being out there, you're going to be back home. His first start for DeShaun is going to be back in Houston. You want to come in, you want to show that you're able to play, that you're able to throw the ball. And Leroy, you're so pointed on that. It's on Coach Stefanski, though, to tone him down, to call plays, and to be true to who we are. Look, it's not a secret for this week's game. We're a Nick Chubb running team. We're a running football team. This is a throwback to the mid-'80s football where we're going to run the ball and you have to stop us. The Dolphins are 24th, 25th in the league with defense. Being able to stop the rush is something that needs to be tested for them, and that's the true colors of our team. And when you're with DeShaun and him coming back, you're right. Don't try to get too creative and think that we're the second coming of the Rams back when they won the Super Bowl.
Bernie, we appreciate you spending some time with us this afternoon. I know Leroy's looking forward to seeing you, and thanks for giving us some time on the show. We really appreciate it.
Thanks, brother.
Sounds good. I'll be down there this weekend, Leroy. I'll see you, man. Canes, go Dolphins, go Browns. Played for all of them. Still honored.
All right.
The great Bernie Kosar. We appreciate spending some time. We'll see you, Bernie.